wow. Deb, hi.
Welcome to the herd.
Thank you for having me. So Deb, I want to get to know you a bit better. My name's Pip and I'm one of your good friends who I met through ice bathing, and Deb has been kind enough to ask me to interview her and get to know her so that you can get to know her and what she is about to do and unleash on the world and the gift she's about to give to the world. So Deb, if you were to give me 3 words, only 3.
There's a lot of pressure, Pip.
A lot of pressure. To describe yourself, what would they be?
Oh, wow. Okay.
Pretty massive.
Enthusiastic. I love that when I need to say 3 words, there's no words in my head.
When you've literally got a million all the time.
So let's go like enthusiastic, passionate, and caring.
Great.
What would you say? What would your 3?
They're perfect.
Yeah.
Caring, definitely. Enthusiastic, yes. Passionate, yeah.
Yeah, cool. We've done it.
You did well.
Next.
Okay. If you were to gather energy, is it with a lot of people around you or with no one?
Interesting, because it depends, right? It depends if the people are people I like or people that I have to be around. Because if I don't want to be around them, it's definitely alone. I am a bit of a hermit and I love to spend a lot of time alone, but then I also get energy when I'm around the right people. So with you, I could spend hours and hours and hours and hours talking, but then after that, I'd need hours and hours and hours by myself. So I think it's interesting how I don't think it's very black and white. And I think a lot of people maybe feel that way as well. Yeah. Like, how do you feel? Do you think that it's one or the other? Is it more, it's really a mixture? And it can also depend on your hormones. Like, where are you at in your cycle? Because that really impacts how I feel.
I think everyone wants to be that introvert or extrovert, but actually there's that mix.
Ambivert.
Yeah. Is it? Is that what it is?
Yeah, that's a mix.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can, because I would say I'm definitely not an introvert, I'm an extrovert, but I love my alone time as well. So I suppose, is that an ambivert?
Well, it's interesting because introvert versus extrovert are how you re-energize.
Yeah.
But we always think that extrovert means that you like to be the life of the party. Well, no, because sometimes I like to be the life of the party.
Yeah.
And other times I want to hide in a corner and cry and just be by myself. So I think probably for most people it changes a lot.
For you?
Yeah, for me it changes a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you were to pick 3 chocolates from a box of favourites, you're in order from the best to the worst, what are they?
I don't even know what's in there.
It's the crunchy violet, the crunchy Moro plain chocolate, cherry ripe.
So white chocolate dream.
Oh, you're serious? That is number 1.
Yeah. Look at the judgment coming from across the room. I thought this is a judgment-free. I thought I was safe here.
No. Okay, well, basically, we could share a box because you could have all the dreams.
See, all the ones you said first are the ones I don't want. So I was like, this is why we're friends. So it's the dream.
Dream, yeah.
Then I'd probably go the plain.
Yep.
And then I feel like there is something. Is there a Kit Kat or something in there?
There's Turkish Delight and there's Picnic.
Yeah, maybe a picnic. See, I'm just not a sweets person very much.
Okay, so you're more. So if I gave you, if I asked you the question, sweet or savoury? Savoury. Okay.
Yeah.
Cheese and crackers.
Yeah, cheese.
Yeah. Okay.
Cheese.
Okay. One more question. Your favourite breakfast food? If you went out for breakfast, say maybe on a date with a cute dude.
What would I order?
Yeah.
You're asking me some really tough questions right now. I do love an eggs Benny. Or just a standard bacon and egg. See, my food choices are really based on the day because it depends what my gut wants. When I choose what I want to eat, I choose based on how I want to feel rather than say what the food is.
So you're not the same breakfast every day person?
I am very much, how does my gut feel and what does it need to be feeling nourished and energized?
But you love an eggs Benny.
Oh, I love an eggs Benny.
Amazing.
Good hash brown.
Oh, yeah, good. I actually did some the other weekend. I just read a recipe and I was like, I found the recipe. This is great. Yeah, I'm very excited about it. So speaking about all this food, particularly breakfast, which is one of my favourite meals of the day, your eggs Benny, you mentioned you love it, but you also feel when you need to order certain foods. Would that come around your hormones and the time of the month and things like that?
It's a really interesting way of putting it. And yes, as well as that, I think actually one of the biggest ways I overcame my eating disorder was specifically through this question. So going from, instead of cravings, asking myself how I want to feel. And so say, yeah, you are, and you're coming closer to your period and you're all bloated as part of your hormones. It's like, well, how do I want to feel? Yeah, I could eat the chocolate, but I actually want to feel light. So I'm going to lean more into some foods that nourish me in a different way. And that's been a huge change in mindset for me, because I know that the way we currently approach health and eating is very good, bad. It's all about what the food does to your physique and your external, instead of really discussing the internal.
So how you feel from the food.
100%.
Yeah.
Instead of using the food as a way to avoid emotions, or maybe near your period, it's this concept of like, you're close to your period, eat the chocolate, do this, do that. It's like, well, pause. How do I actually want to feel? And maybe I do want the chocolate, and instead of berating myself because I'm going to get fat or sugar's bad, what if I just allowed myself the chocolate because that's what my body truly wants?
Have you always been like that?
Absolutely not. For majority of my life, I was not, because I had an eating disorder for 20 years. So most of my life, I lived from a place of, what is the outcome of eating this food?
Yeah.
What if I eat, let's go to the diet industry. What if I don't eat for the week, and then on the weekend I can eat 5 burgers and 20 packets of chips in one day?
Yeah.
I mean, when you get out of diet culture and the eating disorder mindset and you look back on that, you're like, what? Why would you want to live your week to restrict completely and then eat in a way on the weekend that just destroys your body and doesn't even feel good?
I actually think this is like 90% of the population, though.
But that's because it's the mainstream belief system, right? That's what we're sold, because if we're unhappy, if we're miserable, then we're easy to sell to.
Yeah. You mentioned something about an eating disorder. Did you want to talk about that and what it was?
Yeah, it's so interesting since you've asked me that question. I've gone red in the face and I've gotten hot. I didn't expect this to happen. I think it's because of what caused the eating disorder. So, yeah, when I was a child, I was sexually abused. And when something like that happens to you as a child, you don't really have a way of coping with it or dealing with it, especially when you're very young. And so my body, as a result, developed an eating disorder before the age of 9, and depression.
That's really young, Deb. That's really young.
Yeah. I also started to have suicidal tendencies. And that was how I survived. My eating disorder was my lifeline. It was my best friend. It was everything that, it gave me something to focus in on. I was known as the cupcake queen at school, because I'd always be baking. I'd spend 5 hours in the kitchen baking 3-course meals for my family. I'd be getting up making my sister's pancakes. And this is what I think we don't understand about eating disorders, is they're not actually about the food. It gave me something to channel my pain into. It gave me a distraction, and it saved my life. Because if I didn't have an eating disorder, I wouldn't be here today. And so, yeah, I always want to reiterate, it was never about the food. It was about the control and the sense of safety that it gave me.
Yeah. And also it's like, there's actually something that comes out of it that's beautiful, like a cupcake, You're actually making it beautiful. There's artisticness. There's this artistic part of you. There's the escapism. When you're describing that, I can completely understand why a 9-10-year-old is in the kitchen, and you're also serving love up to family and friends. You're loving them with the food.
I loved it.
Yeah. It's really interesting. And then how long do you think you would have had a disordered eating for?
Yeah, about 20 years, because it was never diagnosed. So growing up, I was told, you're fat, you're lazy, do some more exercise. I mean, I was so athletic, so it's pretty ridiculous. I was winning all the trophies, all the things, and yet I was still this chubby kid who felt like an outsider.
Yeah, eating disorder's massive, and I think it speaks to a lot of women, actually. I think it's bigger than anyone wants to admit because of the shame around it and also the things we do and the way we treat our bodies. Did it come out in other parts of your body and your health?
Well, yeah, it controlled my whole life. So I guess what we don't talk about is the health implications of sexual assault.
We don't. I've never heard anyone talking about it ever.
And that can be very isolating.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that can be quite common from sexual assault is gut issues. And I had gut issues my whole life, and it was like, go on this diet, do this. And I was blamed for them as well. Like I was told, it's your food, it's your fault. Like I was blamed for all of these health issues, which were never my fault.
And you never put it back to that. You never thought.
No one did.
No one did, yeah.
Because no one knew.
Yeah.
I had repressed the memories so well that even I didn't know. Until, I was 21 and there was a car accident and my perfectly curated life exploded.
You were in a car accident?
I was hit by a car crossing the road, yeah.
Wow.
And my spine was broken and I had 2 spinal surgeries. And I think once that traumatic event occurred, the way that I had been managing the trauma that I'd been through, the suppression no longer could be suppressed anymore.
Yeah. It all came out.
And that's when things started to go very wrong.
What things?
So for example, like when I was intimate, I started to relive events that I didn't even know happened to me in the physicality. Like I knew they happened, but I was in such denial that I had locked the memories away so well that I didn't have to. A part of you always knows. It knows, and it comes out in your life, but you're not willing to look and you're not willing to see, and especially when everyone else is invalidating you. And if it wasn't for my psychologist at the time, I probably would have, kept going, thinking that I was broken and weird and had, issues with my libido and all of that, having no idea that this was because of what had happened to me as a child. Because I think as well how horrific it is. It's not easy to admit that to yourself and to have to then live through that and experience that.
But it's like a self-preservation, isn't it? Like a protection.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the shame that comes with what's been done to my body.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to sit with or go there for. It's easier to use an eating disorder to beat myself up, to harm myself. And because it's like you're binge eating or you're starving and it's a way of self-torture. It literally is, it's self-torture. Or I was over-exercising, and we don't usually see over-exercising as part of an eating disorder, but it is. I used exercise to self-punish. I knew I was tired on my runs. I would have excruciating stomach pains from my gut issues. And I had to crawl home one time. I think I was like 14 or something. I was quite young. I'd go on runs every day. And one day my gut issues were always so bad. Like I'd always be in pain and sick on these runs. But one day my gut issues were so bad, I remember stopping, and this was before we really had phones and things. And I didn't have one with me and I just didn't know what to do. I was in so much pain. I was on the floor. I crawled home. But I didn't think anything of it. I didn't think that, this isn't outrunning the next day or whatever it is, because when as a child you have such abuse done to you, you're used to being treated that way.
So it wasn't until later that you look back on that moment and go, oh my gosh, that was my body screaming at me? Or
now I can see all the reasons why I had all these weird health complications and I was constantly in sick bay with gut issues.
Yeah.
I love this story now. I think back, I didn't at the time. I was constipated for 6 weeks one time. 6 weeks. And I had to go get x-rays and everything. And you just look back on something like that now. And it also makes me very angry, I think, that our medical system, when you look back at my journey, how much they've let me down. Because no one put the pieces together. Everyone was looking at symptoms. You're depressed. You've got this. You've got gut issues. Take some Metamucil. all these horrible things I was told to take, go on these diets, do this, do that. And everything was just making it worse.
Yeah, it makes me really sad when you're telling me. It's not a funny story, actually, having been constipated for 6 weeks. Like, I know you're laughing, but
You have to bring humour to stuff. You can't be
really
serious.
sad. Like, it's really sad that you had to go to the doctor about that, and then no one says to you, is there a bigger...
Well, for years, it was years. It wasn't just that. Like, for years, I was in and out of doctors with all these health issues. And everyone just kept blaming me and my diet. Eat better. Well, why am I not eating better? I'm not stupid. I'm not some, like, I don't know, like, I'm a very intelligent, on-point human. So why do you keep coming to me and saying, you know, as you know, I was telling you before this, we started recording, how I had atypical anorexia. So that means when you're in a larger body, but you're not eating. And even the fact that it's called atypical anorexia, I used to think, why am I so broken that I don't have normal anorexia?
You can't even do that
I can't even do it right.
Yeah.
And I also binge ate. So like I binge ate, I'd over-exercise, and then I'd not eat for a few months. But no one took me seriously because I didn't have anorexia, and I went into like normal anorexia, and I went into the doctor, and I was a teenager. I was there by myself, so I must have been old enough to do that, maybe 16. Maybe 15, I don't even know. And she said to me, oh, no offense, you don't look that sick. And I went, well, F you. I'll show you. And I just didn't eat.
Yeah, exactly. I'll show you. You want me to be sick? I'll be sick.
Well, when you're like that, I just remember within the eating disorder, you want to be sick.
You're
want
also
it to be
screaming
worse.
for help, aren't you?
Well, that's the point.
Yeah.
It's like, you're in so much pain that I'm using this eating disorder to protect myself from the pain by harming it's really so like, it's crazy because it obviously doesn't make sense. At the beginning it does. When I first had the eating disorder, I needed it. And this is what you see a lot is you go from the eating disorder helping you to then harming you. And then there comes a point where it's no longer helping you and it's now controlling you and destroying your life.
So... did it destroy your life?
It stole my life. But then again, it's the assault that stole my life.
Yeah.
My perpetrators stole my life.
Yeah.
I never got to have my life. My life was determined based on the abuse that was done to me, because that created certain beliefs, patterns, and ways that I had to live to survive. And they're not my beliefs. They're not the way I wanted to live my life. But the parts of me created that way of living so that I could just, it was a survival-based living. My life was not about thriving.
Horrific. How long do you think that went on for you? Like how many years?
Oh, probably like 28.
And then did something happen that it changed, or like why am I sitting here with you? You're so evolved and you've gone through so much, but what happened what was the catalyst that changed it?
It's an evolution. It's not one, like, it's an evolution of many catalysts. But I guess there was a point where I hit many rock bottoms, but maybe, I think it was like 2 years ago or something. I got to a point where my period had gotten so bad. So I had premenstrual dysphoric disorder.
What's that?
It's basically, I say PMS on steroids. It's pretty crazy.
Sounds awesome.
Oh, it is. Who wouldn't want that? And so I was suicidal 2 weeks of the month for no reason. No reason at all. It was all hormone based. And this, can come basically people with a trauma history quite often have PMDD.
Oh, right.
And the other part of that is, I think I was 20, so it was just after my car accident, I was falsely diagnosed with bipolar and put on like 5 to 6 medications and told, you will be on these for the rest of your life.
And did they make you feel different or help? Or?
It was horrible. I didn't like them and they were not great for me. So I did go off them and I did not have bipolar. I had premenstrual dysphoric disorder and complex PTSD. And this is so common of misdiagnoses in this way. But I think the hugest problem is being told, this is your box. Step into your box. Here's your medication. This is your reality now. That's your life. That's your reality. Take it. No, that is not helpful. I think we've gone and we overdiagnose and over label and box people these days. And that's not helpful, because if you look at me now, imagine if I had listened to that psychiatrist who told me, you have bipolar and that's just your reality now. I'm on no medications. I've healed myself naturally. And now there's no issue with medication at all. I don't say it in that way. If it's good for you, it's good for you. We all have our path. For me, I was not about that. So about 2 years ago, something like that, I was at rock bottom where I was suicidal 2 weeks of the month. The other 2 months were fine, but I'd get such severe chronic fatigue and period pains and 2 days before my period wouldn't be able to get out of bed, that my quality of life had got to a point where I was like, I'm done. What's the point? Why am I living? And so, I was just about to give up. I'd had a chat with my uncle who's a GP, and he's like, there's some options here. The pill or, medication. It was very nice of him to look into that for me. Shout out to my uncle, great guy. But I just went, I can't do this again. I refuse to believe that if my menstrual cycle is giving me an issue that it can't be fixed naturally. I wouldn't believe it. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give this one more shot. One more. I've literally like, this is the last. Otherwise I'm done. Goodbye, life. I'm going to give this one more shot. And I was at an event in Bondi, and I started talking to someone who runs breathwork. And I'd studied breathwork through university and things like that, but more in a functional perspective, not so much down the spirituality path. And he was running a retreat in like 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm going. And it changed my life.
Wow.
Finding breathwork changed my life because I finally had a tool that could regulate my nervous system. Like, how ridiculous is that? The simplest thing, your own breath, saved my life. When my whole life I just had all this diet pills, medications, all this stuff shoved down my throat, literally. And then it was my breath that changed my life.
What you've just said to me is that wherever you went, whichever specialist or professional you were talking to, they gave you their fix when the whole time it was within you.
100%. We all have that within us. But our society teaches us to look externally, to buy things, to spend things, and to fixate on our problems, our labels, and our boxes. It does not empower us. And so going on that retreat, I started to learn about breath work. And then I started to adapt the approach that I learnt there, doing more courses, because I don't think that any one person has everything. And I think that if someone specializes just in one thing, that's great, but that's their thing, right? So I think we need critical analysis about how we're taking in how they teach it to you, because no one approach is right, in the sense of, I don't think as humans we're holistic. We need many different avenues.
Do you mean for each person?
Yeah, I think one person needs many different things though.
Yeah, right.
So because we're holistic, it's not just breath work, right? It's also getting that, maybe some yoga. So I got my yoga certification. That was life-changing.
Yeah.
And then I did other trainings and certifications, developing the whole facet that is me. So I think what I'm trying to express here is that people have to, say, specialize in one thing so they can get really good at it and help you through it. But just because breathwork, say, is hip right now, doesn't mean it is the one thing. There is no one thing. It's a multifaceted modality. I stopped doing breathwork for a while. So yeah, it saved my life, and then I did it for ages, and then I kind of went off it for a bit, and I moved down into the yogic path. And then I moved down into Vedic meditation path. But I still have all of the skill sets, and I still use the breath work and things like that. But when, I guess, you are at rock bottom and you don't really want to live, or you're not feeling very well, it's very easy to put all of your power and faith in one person or one modality, whether that is the spiritual or the mainstream medical system. And that's dangerous.
Yeah, it is. But it makes perfect sense. You would have been exhausted. You were at you said this was this was the last thing. This was it. It doesn't surprise me that you're going to hand over your whole life and go, just help me, just give me something. I find it extraordinary that you'd made you dragged yourself out of that part of your life. And I think it actually, you know how we were talking about friendship earlier today? It's like friendships, they come into your life and they go out of your life and they're there for a reason. It's the same with all of these things as well. And I think that makes it feel like it's not as, like we don't have to fixate on things. We don't have to fixate on, the breath work or something. It didn't feel right for you for a few months. It's okay. I think my overarching feeling about you, Deb, is that you don't ever push anything on anyone. You don't ever judge. I could tell you anything and you would never judge it. I think...
Unlike you judging me with my white chocolate choice.
Oh, yeah, I did. No, I'm a judger. You're not.
Good to know.
I'm allowed to judge.
Safe space.
So, it's amazing that you, tell me what's in you now, what's in your heart, what's coming out of Deb, what are you, where is this path taking you? Like, what are you going to do with it all?
It's a big question. I think along my journey, what I've learnt is there is no one right or wrong way to do anything right. So I really want to help people learn to tap back into themselves and trust themselves, because no one knows you better than you do. And I think our medical system disempowers us a lot to trust the doctor, to trust the expert, and to trust everyone else, and to distrust ourselves. And that was very much my experience. When I love my psychologist, but we had a period there where I lost my appetite because my nervous system was dysregulated. Therefore, I shut off my gut, no hunger response, didn't want to eat. But it had nothing to do with my eating disorder. She's an eating disorder therapist. So her lens is, you're not eating, you have anorexia. So for about a month or two there, every session we were just fighting, because she was telling me I had anorexia and I was sick. And I was telling her, I do not have anorexia. I'm just not functioning. I'm not hungry. And she said to me, basically, if you don't go see the doctor to get medical tests and all this kind of stuff, I won't keep seeing you. And that's very normal. That's, when people do have anorexia, you have to set the boundaries like that. But I was trying so hard to tell her I didn't. So I stopped seeing her. I was like, no, screw you. To actually trust myself in that way was incredible, but it was quite a difficult time, and it took me into a hole. It dug me into this dark hole. We have a great relationship where she came back to me after a while and was like, I'm so sorry. I got it wrong. And I was like,
wow.
I was like, yeah, you did.
Wow.
And so I still see her to this day, and we have this most incredible relationship where I tell her how it is, and that's a huge learning experience for me and how I relate to other people, because we do not know other people better than they know themselves. Like, you are the guru of your own life. I hate that word. And that's a perfect example of someone who's got PhDs and is an incredible psychologist getting it wrong.
But that comes back to the box. She needed you to fit in that box.
To a degree, I think that it was just the lens that she's looking for. Like, I have compassion and understanding because every single day she's seeing so many clients with anorexia, right?
Yeah.
And part of anorexia, it's like, you can lie and not be yourself and have all of those. So it was difficult for her to discern that in that moment. But as a result, there was negative consequences for my health and me.
So all of these incredible little parts of your life and your learnings have all come to create, would you say, I hate the word healing. Have they, like, I was thinking about careers, right? And you go, when you first start out, whether you study at uni or you do it, apprenticeship, whatever it is, you step on the first lily pad and then you meet someone that might take you to another one and then another one. Your lily pads are like, there's a lot of them, but they've all led you to an incredible end lily pad, haven't they? I mean, this is obviously not the end. I don't mean like that.
Milestone.
milestone. Yeah, exactly. And I feel like it's you've got a lot to give. Is that how you feel?
I feel I have a deep fire in my belly to make some changes, to really help women become empowered in a society that does not want women to be empowered. I want to help women see that it's not about the diet, the juice cleanse, I'm thinking of these the green shots you take that taste like grass that I used to take. Like some of the stupid diets I went on, cabbage soup diet for a week, and like I was told to eat cold cuts, lots of cold cuts for one of them.
Are you serious?
It's not even healthy. Like, isn't it ridiculous?
Horrific.
Some of the ridiculous things that,
oh my God.
Like, we're not set up to empower women. We're set up to control and minimize women, because an empowered woman is a dangerous woman.
Yeah.
And like, speaking of weights, there is like something that is really important, I think, is that like our bodies are not here to be controlled. And if I look back on my body and my weight, my body was talking to me the whole time. Like, there was a reason I couldn't lose weight, and there was a reason I was unhappy with my body. When you've been assaulted as a child, or any assault really, and you don't feel safe in your body, my body wanted to be fat. My body deliberately wanted me to be fat. So when the diet industry is telling me to go on this diet and lose weight, and I literally had cabbage soup for a week and didn't lose any weight, then you go, what the hell is wrong with me?
Yeah.
How am I so broken? Why is everyone else around me losing weight, looking amazing, got the bikini body? I remember the thing that I wanted the most in life in uni was the before and after picture. I just wanted a before and after picture, and I just couldn't get it. And I couldn't understand how I was so broken and what was wrong with me that everyone else was able to achieve these things and I couldn't. And it was because our approach to health is dysfunctional as
all get out.
Yeah, I was like F. I mean, we can swear on this podcast, but and it's
say it. Dysfunctional
as fuck. Yeah, literally, when we're telling women to like destroy themselves, to get themselves sick just so that they can look a certain way. Excuse me, no. This is just not okay. And the wellness industry is still doing that. And they're just changing their marketing. Diets don't work because our bodies are not supposed to conform to a societal construct of how our bodies look. My body didn't want to be thin. It wanted to be fat to save my life. For me to hate my body because that's what everybody is telling me because I don't look the way that you want me to, well, my body is saving my life. Like, the gravity of those words, to think that I spent my life hating myself because of how society told me that I should be and should look. But if I hadn't looked that way, I'd be dead.
That's really powerful, actually.
Our bodies love us. And this is what we don't see. I never thought I'd say any of this stuff. Coming from someone who had an eating disorder for 20 years, I couldn't even be in my body. The first time I tried to meditate, I nearly threw up. I couldn't even close my eyes and be in my own body. That's how dangerous and bad it was for me, that I closed my eyes for a minute. I remember sitting in this class and nearly threw up. And I opened my eyes and I just looked at everyone. I could see everyone else meditating and enjoying it. And I'm there going, I'm hot. I'm feeling horrific. Like I felt so unsafe and I just wanted to die. Honestly, just felt like so unsafe. I wanted to die. And now I've meditated, I think, for 340 days, twice a day for 20 minutes nonstop.
That's amazing.
Because our bodies are supposed to be our safe space in our home. And then, you know, I don't want to say men because women do it too. Everyone, you know, all people can come in and violate. And I mean that, and I don't think I said that in the best way, but I just didn't want to say then men come in and violate, because this isn't a thing against men, but even the media, the wellness industry, they are violating our bodies. This isn't okay. And that's why I'm here. That's what my purpose is here for, is to change the way that we perceive ourselves in our body and learn that you are perfect just the way you are. You are beautiful. Your body is giving you a headache, a gut issue, or some kind of health condition, not because it hates you, but because it's trying to tell you something that, my gut issues were because my body didn't feel safe. So instead of hating ourselves, taking the colonics and the detox teas and trying to hurt our bodies, what if we just slowed down, paused and listened? What is my body trying to tell me right now? And how can I help it to meet its need? And this is not simple, and I don't say this in a way that it's simple. It has taken me so much work to get to this place. And even now, I still struggle at times. Some days I really just look in the fridge and there's so much food in there, but there's nothing in there and I just don't want to eat. And that's okay. Because it's okay to not be okay, and it's okay to have times where you are on the ground crying and like, I've done so much work, why am I not okay today? That is actual life. And our reality right now, the social media and the life that people are portraying is not reality. You can be okay and not okay. It does not have to be black and white. I am in the best place I've ever been, yet some of these days I'm there like, what the hell am I doing with my life? And I'm terrified and I don't know what I'm doing. That's normal. Even the people who look like they have it all together, they do not have it all together.
Oh, no.
And we need to keep reminding ourselves of this, and this is why we're having this conversation right now. Because even I've spent so long trying to put this accidentally in a sense, but out of such fear, curated life out there. That's what happened this year. I feel I wanted to help women so badly that I started to fit in, and I'm not someone who fits in. Like, I've never been someone who fits in, but I tried. I took these courses, these business courses, thinking that I'm supposed to do it this way and that way and do this hook and do all that, and everything was sitting so wrong with me. I hate hooks. Like, I know you have to use them to get it, but I just think it's so fake, and we're trying to steal people's attention. Even if I know I was coming from a good place, the way that I was doing it, I do not believe is helping people.
Mm.
It's harmful. And I'm not sure enough people are realizing that and standing up to that. I know people are, but we need more change around that. Because the way that we're going currently is harmful. It's not helpful for people's mental health, their body, or anything like that. Even if, like me, I had good intentions. But I was part of the problem. I was not part of the solution.
Wow, that's incredible insight. And I keep saying over and over again when I chat to you, I cannot stand with being with people that are not authentic. And the authenticity around this is exactly what speaks to everyone. If there's someone that's listening to this that really feels heard, is there a way they can contact you or
come join the herd?
I didn't even mean that. How funny.
That's why I did it. The whole point of the herd.
So what is the herd?
Yeah, well, the whole point of it is, if you're sick and tired of diet culture, you're sick and tired of the patriarchy, you're sick and tired of being told who you should be, how you should look, the way forward for you, like how your life should be, whatever, this is what the herd is. It's the irony of stepping out of the herd, you're joining a herd, right? The whole point is that I want to empower my goal in life, my mission, if I could help people, even just one person do this, like to trust themselves, their intuition and their knowing. That's it. I'm putting on these women's circles. We've got our first women's circle on the 27th of September. I'm so excited. We're going to be doing breath work and sound bowls. So the whole premise of our women's circles is it's not just talking. I want to do different stuff. I think doing some kind of movement first gets you out of your head, gets you into your body, and then you can connect with less fear. Because I get it. I have had social anxiety for ages. I have been afraid to go to these things because will people understand me? Will they get me? What if I'm weird? Like, that's the whole point. Let's be weird. Let's be ourselves.
Yeah.
So we'll do some breath work and some sound bowls, and then we'll just connect, and it's chill. It's not supposed to, it's a judgment-free space, and It's just to have real chats about real conversations. This is a place where you can take your mask off and have the conversations that maybe you're afraid to have. Ask the questions. Let's talk about periods. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about we did have one in January and it was beautiful. Everyone was just talking about how hard it is to make friends. That's not an EV conversation to have. We're all talking about how we struggle to make friends. But in having that conversation, every single person felt heard and realized that, okay, a lot of people feel this way. I'm not weird and I'm not broken, just nobody's talking about it. We've got to stop pretending that we're all perfect and, you know, everything's okay, because we're not. Yeah, we're okay. I don't mean it in that way, but we all have fears and insecurities. And so let's stop hiding them in the sense of pretending that we're perfect and putting up that mask. Let's have shared pain, shared shame. By sharing the shame, we shed the shame. I had to do it. I had to go there.
Oh, can you not do that again, please?
Sorry, I apologise.
Oh, no, it does sound amazing though. It does sound good. Like it's just be yourself with, I suppose, other amazing humans, you know, and being heard and authentic. It's just very refreshing.
I've had enough. I think it's like so many of us have just had enough of the shit, to be honest. Like being sold to, underdelivered, wanting so desperately to fit in or be beautiful or, you know, feel good enough, I think is the key. We all just want to feel good enough, and I've had enough of not feeling good enough. So I'm here, raw, authentic, putting everything out there, and it's just like, I am who I am, and I'm going to finally accept and love myself, and it's enough. I've had enough of hating myself. It hasn't worked. So I'm just going to try something new and different. See if that works. If it doesn't, I can go back to hating myself later. So we'll just park that for now.
Let's try it now, yeah.
Yeah. If it doesn't work.
Well, I'm sick of it too, actually, so I'll come with you. I'll join you in this, yeah. Deb, love chatting to you. So fun. So, and wow, I feel like I'm hoping that some people can hear this and really find help, I suppose. Not even help.
Be seen and heard.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, support. Anything else you wanted to say before we go today?
Feeling a lot of emotions.
Are you?
It's well, this isn't easy for me, as you were saying. You know, when we first started the podcast, you come out authentically, and then Deb Sarah comes out, and you're like, come on, show them.
You are hiding it though. Tell me the 3 top emotions you've got right now.
I feel sick.
Yeah.
I want to throw up. I don't know. I feel like I'm questioning, was this episode enough? Have I shared enough? Have I gotten deep enough? Have I done enough?
Can I answer that?
Yeah.
You have.
Yeah.
You were amazing. You shared perfectly. I feel like I got to know you so much better today. And you being you has brought a lot of information and understanding.
This is the point, isn't it? It's like it's even though I have the right intentions, it's not easy. It's not easy to always show up as you and be authentic, and that's why it's like just practicing. Every day I'm trying to practice to, when you've spent 31 years wearing that mask, being who you think you're supposed to be, this is so new. This is so new. Think about it, I've spent 31 years hiding a huge truth about myself. This is not something I'm used to doing. I'm not used to just, and honestly, I never thought I would do this. So it's not like I thought I'd ever come out here and share this kind of stuff in a public way. But isn't that the point? The fact that I find this so hard just shows you how much we need to be having these conversations and practicing being authentic, because we run around wearing so many masks and pretending that we're something not. Even it's just to ourselves. It may not even be that external thing. It might just even be within ourselves.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So come join us on the 27th of September. Join the herd.
Yeah.
And I'd
Sounds
love
like
to.
it will be amazing. actually.
You'll be there, Pip.
Yep. I'll be there.
And we can all shed our masks of shame, have some tears, enjoy some breath work, and just meet some incredibly beautiful people and just be part of the change.
But you can also sit up the back and not partake as well, can't you?
Oh yeah, do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like I think that's the biggest thing. I've had so many people my whole life tell me who to be, how to act, what remedies I needed. Or no, fuck off. Excuse my language, but
Yeah, fuck off.
we've all had enough of that. I'd come to the circle. As long as you're not rude and hurting anyone, it's like, be quiet, have a cry, do whatever you want. Like, as long as you're being respectful to others is the key thing. Don't participate in the breath work. Sit up the back and read your book while we do the breath work and then join in. Like, I don't mind. This is about you and your time, and that's what truly matters.
Thanks, Tab.
Thanks, Pip.